Okay, let's dig into this. We're taking a deep dive into the latest in AI, using a whole stack of sources you shared. Subreddits, Twitter, Discord, the works.
Yeah, quite the collection.
And apparently we're saving you, the listener, something like 850 minutes of reading time, which sounds pretty good to me.
Definitely.
So our mission here is really to pull out the most important bits, the surprising stuff, and figure out what all this rapid change actually means for you.
Well, the first thing that really jumps out from looking across all this is just the pace, the sheer speed of advancement right now.
Right. Not just ideas, but actual usable models.
Exactly. And the infrastructure to support them, too. It's moving fast.
Okay, so where does it get really interesting? The sources definitely point to big progress with the models themselves. DeepSeek R10528, for example. Hearing a lot about that one.
Absolutely. It's showing pretty significant improvements, especially in complex stuff like reasoning and function calling.
Function calling, that's basically getting the AI to use tools, right?
Precisely. Like interacting with external systems based on what you ask it.
Yeah.
And the sources are saying it's matching or even, beating established players. Think OpenAI's O3, Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Benchmarks, yeah. And it's tied for #2 globally for open weights.
That's right. And that open weights bit is, well, it's crucial. It means the core model is out there, public.
Which fuels adoption.
Seems like it. This approach from DeepSeek appears to be really speeding up global use because anyone can basically grab it and build on it.
Okay, and that leads to another sort of major theme here, this idea of global AI parity. It's not just a US show anymore.
Correct. You're seeing labs in China, DeepSeek, Alibaba, ByteDance, Xiaomi too. They're releasing models super quickly, sometimes right after the US ones.
And they're comparable, or even better sometimes.
The sources suggest frequently comparable, yeah. And sometimes even superior performance. The whole innovation cycle is just accelerating everywhere.
So with all this speed and different models claiming things, how do we even measure performance reliably? What are the sources saying about benchmarking?
Benchmarking. It's critical, obviously, but also a bit messy right now. You have older tests like Leeson Bench looking at knowledge, reasoning over long texts.
And those might show older models still leading, like O3 or Claude Opus 4.
You might, yeah. But then you have newer benchmarks, like LiveBench. That adds tasks like agentic coding.
Where the AI acts more like an agent, solving problems.
Exactly. And on those, you see different results. DeepSeek R10528, for instance, apparently ranks #1 specifically in data analysis on LiveBench.
But the sources mention skepticism about the benchmarks themselves.
Yes, and that's a really important point. There's debate about post-training saturation or models hitting a wall with current methods, and real skepticism about some recent RL results.
Why is that?
Concerns about benchmark contamination, basically the worry that models might have been trained, even accidentally, on the test data itself, so you have to be pretty critical of benchmark claims right now.
Okay, got it. So moving beyond just the models, there's also this explosion in tools and infrastructure.
Yes. The whole ecosystem is churning. Perplexity Labs just launched, letting people build complex dashboards, even apps, just from a prompt. That's getting traction fast.
Making it more accessible.
And on the transparency side, Anthropic released open-source circuit tracing tools. Think of them like diagnostic kits for understanding how these LLMs actually make decisions.
Interesting. And what about for people wanting to run this stuff locally? On their own machines.
Yeah, optimized quantization is getting a lot of buzz. Methods like 1-bit or 4-bit quantization.
Impressing the models.
Exactly. Compressing these huge models, so local inference, running the AI on your own hardware, like a gaming GPU, becomes much more doable. Tools like a Llama are even adding features like a thinking mode for DeepSeek to help with that.
And infrastructure itself is becoming strategic. Sources mentioned Canada looking at Grok.
Right, using specialized hardware like Groks for fast inference. The idea is building sovereign AI, having national AI capabilities independent of, say, U.S. cloud providers.
We're also seeing movement in multimodal AI and agents, right?
Yeah, definitely. Google's VO3 for video is out there now. Progress in open source robots. And Xiaomi has this Mimo VLRL model.
What's special about that one?
Reportedly, it's outperforming GPT-4o on tasks like navigating a GUI, basically telling the AI to click buttons and use software like we do.
That step from just generating stuff to doing stuff feels huge.
It is. And what's fascinating is the push towards more autonomy. You see ideas like DAG-based workflows for coordinating AI agents and even concepts like self-improving agents.
Self-improving. Like Sakana AI's Darwin Gödel machine for coding.
Exactly. Agents that can potentially get better at tasks on their own.
Okay, with all this speed and capability, it's maybe not surprising the sources mentioned community concerns heating up. Sam Altman quoted about scary times ahead.
Yeah, the sources definitely echo that. Real talk about widespread automation hitting white-collar jobs. Skepticism, too, about whether this automatically means an era of abundance for everyone.
Plus privacy concerns, like ChatGPT history deletion maybe not being total.
That was raised, yes. And there's this whole debate about technical moats. Is the tech moving so fast that the only lasting advantage is just owning the massive infrastructure?
Which brings it back to the practical side for you, the listener. Running models locally. The sources highlight communities like our local llama focusing hard on this.
Yeah, finding the best quantization, like IQ1 SR4, to squeeze powerful models onto consumer graphics cards with limited VRAM.
And specific models are getting called out. QUIM 332B for coding, Gemma 27B for creative stuff.
And DeepSeek R10528 again, specifically a Qwen 38B variant, praised for being pretty smart even within 8 GB VRAM limits.
So it shows that powerful AI is actually getting closer to being in your hands, not just in the cloud.
Definitely making progress there.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big picture? This dive shows a field just accelerating like crazy. Models are smarter, more open. It's a global race. The tools are evolving fast. AI is starting to do things.
But yeah, it also comes with these acknowledged serious societal questions. Job automation, privacy, the sheer speed of change.
While at the same time, powerful AI is becoming something you might run yourself.
Which really leads to the final thought. With things like self-improving agents maybe not that far off, and these warnings about major social shifts, how might you start thinking about adapting? About learning new skills or changing how you interact with technology in this landscape that's just evolving so incredibly fast?